Okay, so here I've got an echo here. I wonder how to turn that little echo off. Okay, so we're gonna go live. Um, Welcome to Fabric Chicks. Um, we have Rosemary Jameson here today, and I know this is kind of a spur of the moment event, but you can always go back and rewatch it. So we have Rosemary Jameson with So Fast Designs, and you're from Southern California.
Yes, La Quinta, California.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And how long have you been in the industry?
Oh, this is 35, 45 years now.
Okay,
I
so you're
graduated from
professional.
FIDM in 1975. So,
Okay,
yeah.
what is that?
Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. And
Okay.
I worked in LA as a pattern maker designer for a few years before I moved to the desert.
All right, all right. So you've just been doing patterns that you sell at local quilt shops, and you teach classes and all that. Well,
Yeah.
not during the whole COVID thing, so everything's kind of wacky. But
Yeah.
what's your favorite class to teach?
I think the Aloha dress, the little girl's dress, because
Okay.
that gets to be so much fun, and people can mix up the colors of either a collection of fabrics or the batiks, and then make a wild, cute dress.
Right.
It's really fun,
Well,
and it's quick. It's
yeah.
easy because it's little. Yeah.
Well, and I saw it on Monica was wearing it at one of the shows, and it's super
Yes.
cute on adults also.
Yes, it is.
So it comes in 3 sizes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll grab that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so what are you going to show us today?
Well, we were driving by to escape the heat, and we thought we have to stop and see Beth at Fabric Chicks. And I called her, and she said, "Yeah, I'll be here." Yes, I need my patterns, so I brought them over to her. And I thought, "Oh, remember the skirt we were going to make for you?" So we're going to do a salvage edge skirt, and this whole skirt it is a little weighty, so it's great for your weather out here because you have the nice chilly weather. And when actually I put this together for the first time, it was a collection of a bin about this big of salvages. So if you've ever cut them off or you have friends that do, you can actually put it to good use. And
Right.
it used approximately 1,150 yards of fabric. When
Holy
we added up all
cow!
the inches that we used.
Yeah.
So if you times that by 10, that's how much money is involved in the skirt.
Holy cow! Yeah.
So and it's
So you kind of do need your friends to save some salvages
yes,
for you,
yes.
because that's going to be hard to do on your own.
Well, it's surprisingly once you start adding it up, it comes together quickly.
Okay. Did they have to go into their stash and like cut stuff,
This
or
one gal had
just
it.
at? Okay.
She always because
Okay.
she always in the shop we were at, we were just always you consider 40 yards of usable goods because you're cutting off 2 inches off.
Right.
Just cut the salvage off. And I have a long bin. I have 2 now actually. One of those big plastic bins with a lid on it, and I just keep putting all the salvages in it. And I just cut the whole thing. I don't trim it down to pretty looks and now the salvages have all those cute little
Yes.
roosters or chicks or whatever you want for their color bars. And
Yeah.
So it makes it fun.
So do they well you'll get to how much extra they need to be cutting off.
Oh, that's nice because you should have at least a half an inch. Sometimes it's nice to have 3/4 or an inch, but when my overlapping, a 3/4 of an inch to an inch was just enough because I have more salvage showing than fabric.
Right.
So it just depends on how much.
Okay. So they do need a little bit of an extra for the seam.
A little bit extra.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you have fewer salvages to use, then more fabric on it will give you the coverage that you want. Or if you want to have a color read, this has got everything on it. We've got Halloween fabric, we got Christmas fabric, Easter fabric. I mean, there was everything. So you don't really have a theme of it because you're just getting white salvage.
Right. Yeah. Right. So it's just colorful.
Yeah. And it's a basic A-line skirt pattern. And the skirt pattern itself comes in the pattern. This is the pattern piece. And there's several sizes. And I talk about how to measure for your sizes. But this is pretty much a rough size. And this little jog off here represents the placement for the pocket because we all know we have to have a pocket.
For sure.
And then you have to do a little bit of work. There's an extra little tail right here corner that you have to add, but that's great. And this is just the guidelines for you to show you where you lay your striping of your salvages first. And that's a little bit of a concerted effort, so to speak. And one is right side up, the other you want a mirror image. And then it kind of reads like a chevron, which is another good idea. Don't you want to close that?
Yeah. So it here, I'm gonna bring it up close. Hey Dorothy, I think you'll love to use your selvages for this. Look at how cute that is. And look at the drape and how fun and frilly it is. Okay.
And the base fabric, I brought something to try on for Beth. She didn't know she was going to put something on, but she's going to.
Yeah.
And I just used a piece of fabric that I had to do a testing. But you'll probably want to use something that's a little bit of a solid, or something that reads solid if you have something in your stash that's basically 4 times the length of what you want your skirt to be. That's your yardage requirement. This new piece of linen that she
Yes.
got in is gorgeous. I think if you wanted to wash the skirt when you were finished, you would pre-wash this first. The salvages don't shrink like others do, but most of you who wash fabrics wash it right away anyway, then you store it. If you don't, that's fine, then dry clean the skirt later. It's not something that's going to go through a lot of wear and tear. But there are 2 bolts of linen here. One's a little softer than the other. So both would be excellent to use as your base for all of this because you'll have great placements for marking your lines, which you could do with an air, water, markable eraser, erasable marker, or a fix-on pen or something. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so now for the nitty-gritty of this. I know I have my skirt pattern. I know I have tons of salvages. And then, of course, I'm going to ask Beth if she has more before I leave.
No, I don't save the, well, I don't really, but I will.
Okay.
I promise I will in the future.
So I'll use up what I have. And if she needs more, I'm sure you gals might help her out, right?
Yes.
So I made a fitting shell. So I highly recommend this because this is called a toile or a muslin. And if you take your pattern and cut out what you're going to do with the garment, then kind of baste it up together and try it on real quick. It only takes a few minutes, and it's so worth your time because you've got all of the bugs worked out of your toile. So
do you do this with every project that you do?
If I'm making a garment that I really like,
yes. Okay.
And I want it to fit. And if I do custom sewing, because I've been doing custom sewing for 45 years, I'll do this and do all the refittings on the muslin. And then once I have that done, then I transfer that to the new pattern that I've made then, and I go with the cloth that
Right.
I'm going to use, the fashion cloth.
Right.
Yeah. So okay. So come in.
Okay.
Just turn to the camera there.
Okay. Here I am. Okay. Wait. I'm gonna. Roger's not here, girls, so I'm gonna just kind of film it from here. Good morning, Mary Beatty. I'm glad you woke up. So it's over my jeans.
It's over your jeans, which is a little. That's okay. It's a little.
We didn't want this to be X-rated.
The fabric is going to get a little heavier than this, so putting it over an undergarment is going to be okay, because that way we don't want it to be too snug. And when I was just talking to Beth, I took it in a little bit on the sides, but you can see I'm just pulling it from the sides here. This is a nice time where you can have a friend come over and help you do this, because it's always hard to do it yourself. But if you have to do it yourself, you can see that it's too big, go back to the sewing machine, take a ½ inch in every seam and go back and try it on again until you're happy. And the reason it has a nice flow at the bottom is because it does end up being the bias on the bottom. It has a nice flare to it. That's why it's always very flattering to have an A-line skirt. Oh, that was pretty close. That was good. Okay, so back up and twirl a little bit. Can you?
Okay, Tom, just 1 second. We're live.
There we go.
Okay. Does
Keep
that look
turning,
good?
keep turning, keep turning. So I want it to fit around the hips and the waist. It looks like I might have to pull it up. Okay. I'll have to tighten it up a little bit. Here we go. Yeah, so I'll probably take that in another inch there on the top. And then
I'll never be able to lose weight.
So measurements are always good to have.
I know,
right?
Dorothy, I agree. She says she wants the black and white fabric to paint on.
Isn't that great? Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And she said she started saving the super cute selvages, but you recommend just saving every selvage.
Everything. Because to me, it's money, right?
Right.
Now
it's fabric. It's cost effective. And she said she definitely made a mock-up for her quilt coat, and now it's the base for all the patchwork on it.
Yes. Oh, that's great. A quilt coat is awesome, isn't it? Did she use an old quilt, or is she doing a quilt for it?
No, she's creating it.
Oh, that's lovely. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then the length, we're going to make this one, I'm going to disappear now for a minute. So we're going to make this go from the waistline to where like the mid calf is maybe. So it grazes across the top of a boot. And that's another thing too. If you get something like this pre-made, then you know what the length is going to be, and you're not going to shorten off all of your detail work because it's now too short.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so I'll just unsnap you from here, and we can go back to normal. Oh, you know what? Since I have you, let's do the twirly skirt thing.
Okay.
So we have our twirly skirt pattern, changing gears real quick.
Okay, you talk about that. I'm going to go bring this guy in.
Oh, okay. So we have our twirly skirt also, and this one is so cute. It's got an elastic waist, and I think you've probably seen the pattern in the shop. Very cute, whoever made this one. It's a great combination of really pretty navies. And as Beth was bringing this out, she goes, I keep trying to make this one in denim. So that would be a great idea.
Sorry.
And I know that the formula on the pattern reads, if you want to figure out how many fat quarters to use, you can divide your hip, and that's always a fun measurement, right? And we'll take the hip measurement and divide it by 4.25, I think is what it is on whatever the pattern says. So it goes across the fullish hip there, and we'll take that number and divide it by 4.25. And if you have a little bit of overage, then you can go up one, and you might have to adjust the first time you're making this skirt. Or there's another way to do it. Let's say you have an extra piece of fabric laying around. You're going to just cut the top layer, the top section A, out of your fabric. And see how I stitched it together, just one after another. And you can take this little fitting device then, a muslin, and wrap it around and see how many fat quarters you really might need. So I'm kind of coming right over here, so mine needs to be about 11. And that's just nice. It's the way I like them to fit is smooth across your hips. Not too much fabric out here because then it's got too much fabric in the waistband because then this is gathered in with elastic. So that's going to be too bulky for you. We don't want that to be too bulky. You want to be able to just shimmy into the skirt and have the elastic pull in just a little tiny bit. So this way, it's another quick check to make sure that you know you have enough fat quarters to cut your skirt out of, and you've got it. So when Beth comes back, I will try this on her, and it's a very little bit of fabric. This was handy. I had a customer who bought the skirt, and she, oh, look at this. I have markings too. So where everybody fit, I just put their names on it, and that told me what I needed to do. A gal got a pattern. I think she went to Germany, and she, at one point, must be something I heard about 5 years ago. At one point, she had made her friends over 40 different skirts. So that, yeah, this pattern's been out for a while. It's been 2009, I think, is when the release of this pattern was. And I thought that was amazing. She's made so many skirts. And I've made a few, but I haven't made 40. And there's a short skirt pattern within this pattern. So if you have the twirly skirt, you have two pattern sizes actually. You have a long skirt, and then there's another version that says for the short skirt, use only A and D. So those A and D pattern components, when those go together, they make a shorter skirt. And it's less fabric, maybe, but you buy 1 yardage for that. Let's say you got a hibiscus print batik that you think is absolutely gorgeous. That would be perfect to do the short skirt in. It's probably about 3 to 3.5 yards. There's also a different way to cut on the pattern, and that's in the pattern instructions. A little bit more cookie cutter like. And it's like about 5 inches shorter as the skirt. And I have had customers say that this is always such a cute skirt to make. The twirly skirt, one gal made one for her cruise, and it was great. And she was so cute, very short, and she said even out of 14 fat quarters, it was just as cute as could be. So I know that it's been very nice. So this twirly skirt's always been fun to do. And so here comes Beth again.
Honestly, the twirly skirt is quick.
Yes.
It's really quick.
You can make it in 2 nights. I mean, even if you work full time, you can still make it.
Right.
Yeah. So this one, we're going to have you step into the frame then. Okay, pull that up with your waist. Oh, there we go. Exactly. Okay. And that one's over your jean. So to be honest with this one, to fit yourself, I would say do this on just in your undies because you want this to fit snug, not over clothes. So this there is just about getting to the next seam, so I'm going to use that little tighter seam to make the that's
Dorothy says I
excellent.
can always lose weight and you can take it in.
Yes, there you go. And with the twirly skirt, there's so many seams inside here that if you need to take it in, even if you need to take it in 2 inches, you go to each seam up here and you stitch when you're at the skirt, you know, from this connecting line here, stitch from here straight up, because this is just an eighth of an inch. It takes actually a quarter inch out of the skirt. You do that on 4 seams, you've got an inch done. You do it on 4 more skirts, you got it 2 inches taken in. So you can take it in really quickly, and then you finish it off, put the elastic on, and you're ready to go. But
so you have to do it on each of the seams so that it disperses it.
Yes.
Okay.
So whatever.
Because I'm like, I'm just going to do one seam and be done. It would look funny though. It would look funny.
If you wanted to disperse it equally, you could do a quarter inch on the right, a quarter inch on the left, a quarter inch on the front and the back, and then just spread it out. And it depends on how much you have to take. If you're taking it in 2 inches, you added one too many panels. Basically, is probably an issue. But yeah, but it makes the note on your own pattern so that the next time out it's done
and
finished.
And for the twirly skirt, you use muslin as the mock-up.
This one it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but any solid or extra, it could be anything left over that you use. But yes, it was, and like fabric. So this is a cotton woven. I wouldn't do this in a knit, and I wouldn't do it in a denim unless I was making a denim skirt.
Okay.
But I would still use this before I cut up the denim jeans. Yeah.
So say that they wanted to do the twirly skirt or even the selvage skirt because they like the way it fits. Could they do that with denim to make a jean skirt?
This would be great with a jean skirt.
Okay.
Both of them.
That's what I think. I think it would be super cute as a denim
this would
skirt.
be great if you, who was doing your quilt coat, Dorothy?
Dorothy, yeah.
Yeah, so if you took this as your muslin and fit it to you, you can do patchwork like denim parts. So you could just do patchworky all over, then sew the skirt together, and it would be a great skirt because it would look all mishmashed and patchwork, and that's the style now. And if you want to take it one step further, you could paint on it because I know you guys paint a lot.
Yes.
And you could also do sashiko. So sashiko would be great to do, like lay a pocket on top of something and sashiko stitch on top of it.
Yes.
Or a light denim on top of a dark denim and then stitch across it with red thread or something.
Yeah. So you could get kind of crazy with the embellishing.
Oh yeah.
But the fit of it, and I'll show you guys again because I know some of you have just joined. This is the selvage skirt that she's going to be making me a new sample of. But the fit of it is really, really attractive. So you could use the pattern. And even if you don't want to save selvages, because I know some of you have issues with saving that smallest scraps, but you can totally just use the base and then patchwork it up any which way you want.
That's it. So as I make it up, I will give you another call.
Yeah,
we'll do what I'm doing.
Yeah, we'll do a live as she's going. And she did bring me a box of patterns, so I'm not sure what I've got here.
Are you afraid?
Oh no. They're used to that. They're used to my bad filming. Roger's usually here. Here's the Aloha dress for little girls. And then we do have it made up. We have it for the American Girl doll. So you girls need to be starting and getting done Christmas gifts. We've got the project bag that would be great. It's got the clear vinyl, the twirly skirt.
Let me say something about the project bag. If you wanted to teach someone how to quilt a little bit, this is a great project to teach quilting to some, like a teenager or younger, because it goes through quilting, through putting layers together, adding on the binding, and a great way, I like my method of doing the binding, and how to finish off the binding. So it covers a lot.
So even, I've never seen this photo, but even if you want something quicker than the patchwork and you don't want to sew all those strips because like you might like not have enough time in your day, you can just use one piece of fabric for the skirts.
And there's a couple patterns, a couple pictures inside about that skirt a little bit bigger.
Perfect. Okay, so there's extra patterns inside. All right, so girls, do you have any questions for Rosemary? I know she was super sweet. I totally caught her off guard. She was just going to dump this box, pick up a check, and run. And I said, oh, no, why don't you do a live real quick? So here we are. But as she gets sewing it, we will pop in and just do some surprise live so you can see the process and how it goes together. All right. Do you have anything else you want to say?
That's great. It's great fun seeing you again.
Okay. All right. Thank you, girls, for joining. We'll see you tonight at 4 o'clock for our sale, and we'll put all of these patterns on this afternoon's sale. So if you have any questions, let us know. We'll see you in a few hours. Thank you again for being such a good sport.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
Happy sewing, everyone.
Bye. Go get some sewing done before I see you.